Okay, so we are here with Aaron Sanchez, and we wanted to talk a little bit about his story and where he's at and kind of where he's come from. So thanks, Aaron. Do you want to start by introducing yourself?
Yes, I'm Aaron Sanchez. I'm 18 years old and I'm a freshman at DU, and I'm also a Daniel Scholar.
And we will come back to what a Daniel Scholar is, because that is super awesome. First, I guess we can talk about kind of how you got here and maybe your story along the way to becoming in such a good position, really.
Right. Well, when I was 12 years old, I was always raised in Colorado, and my parents were deported to Mexico. They were illegal immigrants, and I lived in Mexico for about 9 months, and then I moved back to Colorado because I didn't like the school system, and just the lifestyle was a total change from what I was used to. And I moved back to Colorado, and I went to middle school for 1 month because they didn't want me to take CSAP at the time, or TCAP, what it's called now. And that's how my journey started. And I went to, I guess, not such a good middle school. And then from there, I went to a different high school, which wasn't as great either.
When you were in middle school, what goals did you have? Like, if you were to put yourself back when you were like 7th grade or 8th grade, maybe, what were you thinking about? Do you remember?
I honestly didn't have any goals. Like, my only goal was to go into high school and graduate. And so in 8th grade, my goal was just to pass and go to 9th grade, because that's the only thing I had to do. I wasn't worrying about my future. For example, now I didn't even think I was going to go to college. So to be honest, I didn't have any goals. I was only trying to graduate from high school.
Okay. So you weren't really thinking about college at that point. So in high school, that's where I met you. And I remember your junior and senior year clearly. What would you say, like, freshman and sophomore year? What were your goals, like, starting off in high school?
Freshman and sophomore year, I didn't go to the same school where I met you, but I went to a different school. It was called Sheridan High School, and the classes were good, but the teachers really weren't good. They didn't really care. I was just so understanding that one of the teachers, she would actually let students do her hair in class, and we wouldn't really do anything in class. So I think there was a lack of motivation. And once again, my only goal was to graduate from high school, because that's what my parents had kind of imposed on me, just to graduate from high school.
Okay, so that was your main goal?
Yeah.
I remember your junior year when you started doing the ACT prep and getting ready for college. And we were just talking, and you had said it wasn't until your junior year that you started thinking about college, but you sort of noticed that there was an obstacle there. And you talked about with your parents and stuff. What was the obstacle that you saw at that point?
The obstacle, I became more interested in college, like you were saying, my junior year, and I really wanted to do good in my ACTs, and I was looking into different colleges and the opportunities. And I think the biggest obstacle, and it's an obstacle for a lot of people, is money. And I didn't have any money. I was living with my aunt and uncle, who just let me live there and provided for me. But my parents were making probably what is considered $20 to $50 a week. So I mean, that's not even enough to make an actual living. Mm-hmm. And so money was the biggest problem for me. I didn't really know that there was so many scholarships out there. I would hear the counselors talking about it and teachers. But since I'm the first person to go to college, I didn't know how to apply, or what to apply, or what I needed. And I think also one of the bigger problems is the parents. They don't know that there's help out there, and they don't know that these scholarships actually just, they give money away and they help the kids. And I think that's why a lot of students feel like they can't go to college, because they don't feel that support from their parents, because their parents don't know, they're not aware, and they also know that there isn't any money, and that's why they don't become interested in it. And I was like ready and set to go to college, like from my point of view, but the only thing that I needed was the money, and I didn't know how I was going to do it really. I was just excited about the idea, and then that's when I applied to the Daniels Fund.
Okay, so Daniels Fund Scholarship. So first of all, DU, of course, is an amazing school, one of the top schools, and it's really expensive,
Yeah.
right? Do you know what an average like year is there?
It's $54,000 a year.
Oh my God. Sorry, I didn't know that.
And I think that's like the average. I think right now, this year, I think went a little bit up, or it went down a little bit with like the new school prices, but that's like the average. So it's a private university, therefore it's more expensive.
Yeah.
So whether you're in state or out of state, you pay the same.
Okay, so that would be around $200,000 for your bachelor's. And how much does your scholarship cover of that?
The Daniels Fund, it's not considered a full ride, but it essentially is.
Yeah.
It's called a supplemental scholarship.
Uh-huh.
And what that means is that whatever your parents make, the money that your parents can pay for your college or any other scholarships that you get, the Daniels Fund covers the rest. So, for example, I didn't get any other scholarships, so therefore the Daniels Fund does pay for everything, and so the Daniels Fund is paying the entire fee. And also, a lot of the time, students don't also realize that the universities themselves or the colleges give the students money. For example, I think DU gave me $18,000 a year, and the Daniels Fund pays for the rest.
That's awesome. Nice. Along your way to kind of get where you are now, what would you say, as far as like role models or inspirations, what kind of helped you, to get where you are?
I think I would say my parents, they weren't like physically with me since they're not still. Like I rarely see them. Last time I saw them was about 2 years ago. So that's always been a little bit hard to have. I know I have their support, but it doesn't necessarily always feel like it's there because they're not here. But I think that they're like the number one, like the reason why I'm doing this too, and also for myself. But also, I think my teachers, especially like you, for example, I think like the teachers that you become close with, that you actually become a friend with, like they motivate you to do better in school. And I think those are like my influences. I wouldn't necessarily say like, oh, I want to be like them, because they always teach us to try to do better, to do what we want to do. And they were always like my influences. And even like some friends, like you'll come to realize who are like your good friends and who are like the best friends. But I think friends, like you'll realize who your good friends are because they'll help you and they'll support you in anything.
Awesome. What about, are there any other, you've had a lot of big obstacles that you've already talked about. Were there any others that stick out?
Yeah, I think, well, the first one was without my parents since I've been 13. Another one was kind of not necessarily being bullied, but always feeling like you just don't fit in for whatever reason, whether it's like, the way you behave or the way you dress, or just because you're not cool, I guess. But I think those were like the smaller obstacles, and also like it becomes harder for you to focus because there's so many things going on. But I think sometimes you like need to set things aside, and you'll realize that like you need to make time for yourself, and you need to start understanding what you want to do and what you want for yourself. And I think those obstacles are always going to be there, but you just need to move past them, and you need to understand and acknowledge them, and just move beyond that. Because, for example, like the people that I knew 4 years ago, I probably don't even talk to any of them. So I think once you start growing up, you realize who you should be friends with and who genuinely cares for you.
Nice. If you were to give like any piece of advice to these 6th, 7th, and 8th graders that are not really wanting to try academically at the moment, what advice would you give to help them kind of get motivated? Like, what would you have done if you knew what you know now?
I think advice. I feel like even when I was in middle school, like from my perspective, I feel like there was always like somebody who was telling you like, oh, it gets better, and you have to like stay in school and get good grades, and like I think that's true, but I think also like a lot of times people don't understand what you're going through, and like we're all going through something, whether it's at home, whether it's at school. So I think you just need to understand that like the way that you get through that and what you want to do for yourself is the best way to like keep moving forward, to like stay in school. I think even now, I think like when like it's starting to become cool to be smart or to like get your homework done, and I think you'll slowly start to realize when you get older that people actually appreciate smart people and like they rather have conversations with them. And as you grow older, you'll start to realize that there's a lot of differences between people who are educated and people who are less educated, and you will want to be part of the people who are educated because those are the people who are doing things and they're moving forward and they're helping the rest.
That is a perfect piece of advice. Wow. Thank you, Aaron. I'll go ahead and stop this so you can go out with your friends.